What's good, y'all? This is Blade the Australian Shepherd, and today we're just going to be making a little fast food tier list. I've been through, or I've been to a huge variety of different places, so honestly, I have a big voice, big opinion on it, living in multiple different parts of the country. Honestly, the list I have here, I have at least, I think it was 87 on here. I think I got every single one that's in the United States. If there's any that I don't have on this list, let me know. But okay, we're just gonna get right into this. The top being A, because none of them is deserved of anything higher because it's fast food. There's nothing really that elite about it. In my honest opinion, anyways, it goes from A to B, then C, then there's D tier, and F. There's awful, like the most horrific thing you've ever seen. And then, of course, we're also got another category for the ones I haven't had, but I would like to try. Like, I might have heard of that place, but I was just like, but I've never actually eaten there before. And then they're the ones I haven't had and never. And I was like, I don't really care to have. Like, yeah, like this place exists, and I don't really care to go there anytime soon. And again, these are more like, yeah, I haven't had it, but I mean, I kind of want to sometime. You know what I mean? First one on this list is Muya. This is kind of more one of the more Texas ones that these next couple ones are, but Muya, I've had them once or twice, though again, it's been a while. I've been up in Wisconsin for the last 7 or 8 months, but they're a little bit on the expensive side, though. Their food wasn't that spectacular. And it was a little bit expensive, so for that I'm gonna put them in the C tier. The same prices as other places that are better. Yeah, I think they're C. They're mid. Jason's Deli, again another Texas place, but I don't know. I remember I used to get these at Walmart all the time. Like I remember during our lunch break is their little celebration or whatnot for apparently meeting some corporate record. We would get Jason's Deli. They're not really anything that spectacular though. Sbarro, aka the one where you would find in a lot of malls. Again, that's usually where you'll be able to find them. They're from New York, I think, and they're really big pizzas. If you ever go there, you notice they're massive slices. I don't know. Again, they're not that good though, at least in terms of taste, but it is nice how you can get a little bang for your buck. Johnny Rockets, though, they're more of a place you can find in amusement parks, like Six Flags or something like that. Again, they're stupidly expensive, and because of that, again, for the same reason, they are pretty good, but we're gonna put it up here because they do taste pretty good from the few times I've been there. Waffle House, though, that's a place you can get wasted at 2 a.m., but it's definitely a vibe. I will say that much. The food is pretty good. I usually like to get the chocolate chip waffles. Those are pretty banger, and the price are okay. They're not too bad. So they're either B or a C for me, but I will go with the C. Yeah, that seems about right. Papa Murphy's, I've never had them before, though I've definitely heard of them. But I don't really care to go there anytime soon. It's not really on my priority list. This one's kind of cropped out a bit, but this one is Qdoba Mexican Eats. They're alright, but I feel like they're kind of similar to Chipotle in a way. Just kind of not as healthy, I suppose. We'll also give this one a C. Sorry, again, a lot of mid places right now. Then Checkers. I actually tried them whenever I was heading on the way to Midwest Fur Fest. The closest one to me is all the way over Milwaukee. But yeah, some people call it Rallies though. There's Checkers and Rallies, but they're basically the exact same thing. I thought they're pretty good. If there's anything we should get there, you're really on a budget, go get their mozzarella sticks from Checkers. Those are the best mozzarella sticks I've ever had in my entire life. I am not exaggerating that in the slightest. Get their mozzarella sticks. No joke. Besides that, another way I can describe their food is it's very mushy, just in general. Their fries, their burgers, it's all very mush. Yeah. It's a pretty decent taste, but yeah. The mush is just everywhere. You know what I mean? Next up, we got another sandwich place, McAllister's Deli. I've never had them, and I don't care. Taco Cabana. Again, another Texas place, another taco place, or I think this is kind of like the first one of its kind here. But again, they actually weren't that bad, and there's nothing really special that they have to offer outside of them being pink. I think that's pretty cool. Black and pink, it's a nice little combo. But yeah, I'll put them in. I'm kind of leaning towards D on this one, honestly, but I'm gonna go with the, yeah, we'll stay at D. Yeah. Taco Delight, on the other hand, again, they're a little bit more, again, specifically North Texas, but I definitely would count them as fast food because they have a drive-through that you can go through, and I remember more people went through the drive-through than not. So a lot of my folks over in Little Elm are gonna appreciate me for including this one. I think they were pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, they're probably one of my more favorite taco places to go to. I would definitely rate them over a place like Taco Bell, for example. But yes, I'd say B is about right for them. Godfather's Pizza, I do like them. They're kind of good. I kind of want to put them in the A tier, but usually my go-to, at least for their wings, I like their sweet chili wings. Those are one of my favorite things to go get. Again, they're kind of not exactly fast food because again, they're the pizzas, of course, it's kind of its own category with Domino's, Little Caesars, Pizza Hut, that sort of thing. And I'd say that could be a category of its own, but a lot of other tier lists are including these type of places, so I'll include it in my list too. Excuse me. So we'll put this in. Yeah, we'll keep it at B tier. Like, the pizzas themselves aren't like the best thing I've ever had, or the best ones ever, but I don't know. They're one of my favorites personally. Yeah, well, the heck with it. We'll put it in A tier, just because it's probably one of my favorite pizza places, at least. Steak and Shake. They are lovely. Their burgers are honestly really good. My one weak point for them, though, is their fries. Their fries are the thinnest things I've ever seen in my life. They are terrible. Do not get Steak and Shake fries. But the burgers, they're really good. The shakes, you can't go wrong with their shakes. They're amazing. They have a bunch of different options for mix-ins and whatnot. Yeah. Their burgers, shakes, amazing. Fries, don't get those. Just because of that alone, I might put it in B tier. Applebee's, again, they're kind of more similar to like a Buffalo Wild Wings or an IHOP. The fact that they don't really have a drive-through line. It's more of you have a person serving you, but it's a pretty common place. Again, I've seen a lot of other people including these type of places in their lists. Not gonna lie, their taste is pretty damn good, I will admit. So, yeah. At least in terms of the quality of the food, I'd say this is A tier. Arby's. Alright, hear me out. A lot of people like to bash on this place. I don't think it's the best myself. They definitely have their weaknesses, but I'm going to put them in the C tier. Because they actually do taste pretty good, especially their shakes and their cookies. You can't go wrong with those. They are absolutely spectacular, bombastic. They have specifically, I would recommend getting the Jamocha shake the next time you ever go to an Arby's. It's basically just sort of like a mocha shake, like a chocolate coffee. Honestly, one of my favorite things. And also those little roast beef sliders, those are little childhood favorites for me as well. Yeah, I could honestly understand why people wouldn't like it. And some of the stuff that they offer is weird. Baja Fresh is this next one here. Again, I've honestly never even seen one in my life. But it does seem pretty interesting, though. I guess I would be able to try it sometime if I ever get the opportunity. Then Baskin Robbins, they're specifically an ice cream place, but they're pretty popular. I know some places like in where I live right now they combine Baskin Robbins Dunkin' Donuts, but again, they're their own separate thing though. I think that their ice cream is pretty good, not gonna lie. If you ever, at least where I'm at, they have the Oreo cold brew. That's what it's called. It's sort of a mix of coffee flavored ice cream and Oreos. And again, I'm a big fan of chocolate coffee, chocolate mocha. It's really good. Basically, if you ever find a place the Oreo cold brew, do get that, please. It's one of the best dessert items you'll ever have. I'm serious. Blippi. That's another place. Don't get their cookies. Don't get their cookies. Don't do it. They actually did put a good amount of meat in there. Whenever I got there, I tried their subs. I got their meatball one or something like that. I'm never going there specifically because of those cookies. They essentially just snap. They don't have any sort of, they don't have any smooth texture or anything of those sorts. It's just they're D. There's nothing special about them. Brahms. Again, another ice cream place like Baskin Robbins, but they do have other options. They do have burgers. They do have chicken sandwiches and those other sorts of things that your other typical fast food places might have. And they do also have a little grocery store. Specifically, that's what my dad used to do. A lot of the times, whenever we wouldn't get food from the food bank, we would go get groceries at Brahms. And they would have those little ice cream sandwiches and cones there. I honestly think they're pretty good overall. I have a lot of good childhood memories of there. Not only that, but also back in the day, I used to go to the Colony all the time. I would go to that location, and we would just sit there for a while while Mom did work in essentially the city. It was sort of like our little daycare place. I have a lot of good memories of it. But again, their burgers aren't necessarily the best I've ever seen, so that's the only reason knocking them down. Buffalo Wild Wings. I actually work there right now. Again, at least in terms of taste, I like their variety, but I don't know. B for Buffalo Wild Wings. B for I can't put them on below Applebee's. I can't do it. No. I think we might move these later on, but we'll see. I think that at least in terms of taste, Buffalo Wild Wings and Applebee's are on the same tier. Burger King. The only thing saving them, in my opinion, are those little Hershey chocolate pies. You know what I'm talking about? They have the chocolate mousse thing, and the chocolate crust as well. It's really good. They're one of the best dessert items you can get all of fast food. But that's literally the only thing I like about them. Because of that, we're gonna put them in the D tier, just because of that alone. But everything else there, in my opinion, is hot trash. Captain D's. I've heard a lot of good things about this place. I think it's a far more superior Long John Silver's. So I've never been here, but I am interested to try. I'd like to try. I like to see how it is for myself. Chicken Express, another place where I have a lot of fond memories of. Back in the day, when we would be on our way back from Denton Bible Church. We would get boxes of Chicken Express home, and we would usually just sit and eat and watch the NFL games while eating Chicken Express. So, very fond memories. But in terms of their actual food, I think that their chick was pretty good. Not gonna lie. Do get their bread rolls. They're also one of the best things you can get. But besides that, though, the rest is kind of mid. So yeah, we'll say B. It's pretty good. But, Chipotle, I've actually never been here before, believe it or not. I know it's a pretty popular place. So, but am I really in a rush to go? I've heard those prices are pretty steep these days, so I don't really care. But if we're hanging out together and you insist that I go there, I won't be against it. Church's Chicken. That's a place that exists. That's a place that my dad doesn't like because he yelled at him, essentially, something like that. And it's kind of a... Einstein Bros Bagels. This is another place I've actually never been to. For a while, I never actually liked bagels, but I'm a big fan of them right now. So I would like to go to one, but there are just not many that are nearby. I usually tend to find them a lot of times on campus grounds. A lot of times they'll have them inside or by the cafeterias or whatnot. But if I do find a place, I'm gonna try and go there one day. Culver's, they are my favorite fast food restaurant of all time. I recommend their burgers. I'd say everything, in my humble opinion, is a hit. You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with their burgers. You can't go wrong with their tenders, their chicken sandwiches. They even have shrimp. They have a huge variety, and I love them for that. And again, their taste is spectacular. If you know me, you know I love me some Culver's. Put them in that A tier. They are elite. 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 Anyways, Dairy Queen. You can't go wrong with their blizzards. Those are really good. If you're not getting a blizzard at Dairy Queen, what are you there for? It depends a lot on who's working there. Sometimes if you get a good employee, if he knows what he's doing, actually puts a good amount of stuff in there, it'd be pretty good. But then there are other people who are very petty with the amount of chocolate that they put in there and the amount of other mix-ins like Oreos and Reese's or whatnot. So because they are such a mixed bag, I will put them in the C tier right in the middle. Sometimes they could be one of the best places almost on tier with Culver's, and other times they could be extremely disappointing. So C is about right for me. Denny's, I have been there once actually, but it's been a long time. Yeah. Like the last time I went I think was in 7th or 8th grade. So for what I remember, they were kind of like IHOP. They're like a C or a D, if I remember in terms of taste. We'll put them in D. Sure. D for Denny's. Domino's. I used to work here for a while. Basically for about a year I worked here as a delivery driver. I know I've had everything on their menu, in essence. And they're mid. They're mid. They're mid. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. Dunkin' Donuts. Yeah, their donuts are not that good. If you have a place if you have a local donut shop nearby, and you have the option between them and your Dunkin' Donuts, go with your local donut shop 100%. Support your local businesses, man. Yeah, one thing I will say is I do like to go to Dunkin' Donuts. It's a good place for me to essentially do my homework and just relax, and a lot of times I'll edit my videos in there. They have free Wi-Fi, so I do like them for that. But their food it's okay. It's nothing too special. El Pollo Loco I've never had, but it seems pretty interesting. I do like Mexican restaurants, but not too often, right? I have to mix it in with other themed places, but I would be interested to try them though. Chick-fil-A. They're not I think that they're one of the better chicken places for sure. They do have a pretty decent taste. I think that they're massively overrated and also massively criticized. And I think that they're deserving of both the criticism and the positivity. I think that they are one of the best chicken places, but I don't think they're A tier. Well, I'm like B or C for me. I'm gonna go B. Firehouse Subs. Just a little expensive. Just a tad bit expensive. For the amount is very disappointing, but it is pretty good, I will admit. I do think that they have a really good taste. The price knocks it down, so I will put it right around C. Five Guys Burgers and Fries, another stupidly expensive place, where a burger and fries will literally cost you like $15 at least. No, actually scratch that. Just a burger, just a double cheeseburger will be like $15. And then you add on the fries and it's like $20. It is stupid. It is absolutely asinine. But I would like Five Guys in me, don't get me wrong. They are pretty good tasting. I think that they have quite the juicy meat. And they do put a good amount of fries in there. A stupid amount of fries. It's like they're trying to get rid of their fries. They're just trying to get all of them out as fast as they can, because they have such an abundance of potatoes laying out in the lobby. So with that in mind, we'll go B. Freddy's. I actually just tried this place this week, a few days ago, I think. I only got their frozen custard, their concrete mixer, because I wasn't really that hungry at the time. I had just eaten at a previous Thai restaurant. If I'm just judging off of that concrete mixer that I had alone, I think that was one of the best dessert items that I've ever had. The amount of chocolate that they have in there is the right amount. It's a really good tasting custard. So I would like to try more of their menu, but if I'm just made off of that alone, I don't know how the rest of their food tastes, so just because of that alone, I think I'll put them in B. But if I try the rest of their food and it's like on Clover's level, I'm putting it on tier with them at A. Golden Chick, another main Texas place, but they're alright, I think. But I don't know. I've actually never been, but I haven't heard many fantastic things about them. And since it's probably gonna be a long time for it to go to Texas again, I will put them down here. Sure. Hardee's or Carl's Jr. is this next one. Up in Wisconsin, they call them Hardee's. In California, they call them Carl's Jr. They're essentially the same thing. You know what I'm getting at here. I think they're pretty good. If anything, I think their chicken sandwich is probably one of my favorite chicken sandwiches in all of fast food. I would recommend getting their classic chicken sandwiches. They are on the same tier as Chick-fil-A for me, if not better. Which is kind of weird, because they focus more on burgers, but you always find little surprises in places, you know? We'll go B. Yeah, I'm waiting. We'll stick to B. Hooters. I've never been there before, and I'd kind of like to go, and I'm pretty sure you would know why. IHOP. Again, this is another place that I have a lot of fond memories as a child, specifically after we had our first communion and we're basically confirmed to the Catholic Church, because that's what I am. I'm Catholic. This is where we would go typically. Right afterwards, we would have as our little celebration. So because of that, they hold a special place in my heart. But in terms of their food, it's incredibly mid. Outside of those Belgian chocolate waffles, those are pretty sensational, in my humble opinion. But besides that, though, it's kind of hit or miss. I mean, really hit or miss, depending on who's in the kitchen. So we'll go C. I would put them at D, but again, those childhood memories and the Belgian chocolate waffles was keeping it at C for me. Great American cookies, I think that they are the best cookies you can ever have. I'd say they're almost on the same tier as Mom's Baked Cookies. So I could put them in the A tier, theoretically, from a theoretical standpoint. I don't think I will, though. I haven't heard good things about their cakes. In-N-Out Burger, I think that they're not too bad, but I think they're heavily overrated. The Californians think it's the best place on planet Earth, but it's not. So I do like the sauce that they put in their burgers. I think it's pretty good. And something about their animal fries, I've never had those. People talk about it. It's a little trending thing on TikTok. I don't give a flying hoot. They're not in Wisconsin, so I'm not gonna have them again for a long time. We'll put them in C. That sounds about right. Jack in the Box. Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. One of my siblings works at a Jack in the Box. They don't like working there. They think it's a shitty environment. I also have a friend who works at Jack in the Box, who also happens to be my patron, Eric. He actually works at Jack in the Box. He's a manager at Jack in the Box. Thank you for giving me that. Thank you for giving or supporting me there, by the way. But anyways, I've not heard good things about them. I think that they are not well managed. I think that their food is nothing special. They have nothing's. Well, I actually scratched that. They do have those little tiny tacos. Those are pretty clutch. Those are a pretty good deal. That is something unique that they have to offer. Besides that, though, they can be pretty stale at times, depending on how long they've been in the cabinet. So I might just put him in F. I'm highly considering it. But I think that there are worse fast food places in my opinion, so I will put him at D. I think they are on about the same tier as Burger King, sure. Jersey Mike's subs, I don't know why, but this specifically my hometown of Prosper, Texas, has a very big fetish on this place. They love it so much. They have an absolute kink for Jersey Mike's and Kroger. I don't know what it is, but we would usually get Jersey Mike's subs before football games, before lacrosse games. I'm pretty sure the other sports teams had them as well. This is specifically the place that our high school would always feed us. So I've definitely had it more times than I should have. I've been force-fed them so many times. I don't know. I think that they are one of the better places out there in terms of Subway sandwich, or not Subway, but just subs, right? They are one of the better places, but I still don't think that they're that fantastic. I don't know. C sounds about right. Jets Pizza, I've had them once. They're okay. Jimmy John's, they're kind of trash. Their bread is dry. Their bread is hard. They put a minimal amount of meat on there. Their cookies are stale. L plus ratio. F. Jollibee. I love this place. I love this place so much. I went here after heading back home from Midwest Fur Fest, and they are amazing. If you are in Illinois, or if you have this Jollibee or place nearby you, please go try it out. They are mainly a chicken place. They have, but they're also based in the Philippines, so they're gonna have a lot of local Filipino dishes mixed in. And even I also noticed most of the people that worked there were Filipino, and even most of the people who were eating there were Filipino. But yes, this place is really good, and their prices are. I mean, they're not cheap, but they're not as expensive as say Five Guys. So do absolutely go and eat there if you can. Give them a shot. Give them an honest shot. They are really good. Anyways, KFC. All right, hear me out. I do think that they are better than Popeyes. Call me a daredevil. I think they are probably the second best. Their gravy is top tier. You can't get enough of it. That brown gravy mixed in with the mashed potatoes. Their chicken sandwiches, I think, are one of the best. But I don't know. I can't put it in with these guys. No. Yeah, B sounds about right for them though. They've definitely fallen off over the years. They've definitely gotten a little bit worse over this last decade. But I'd still say that they are better than a lot of other chicken places. Krispy Kreme donuts. I had high hopes heading into them. They really disappointed me. I think that their donuts are honestly worse than Dunkin', and that's saying a lot as to how bad they are. But I don't know. I can't put them at F. I do think they are iconic. I do love their name, Krispy Kreme. I like the Christmas-like color combination. I do like him for that. That's about the only thing keeping him from being an F, honestly. L&L Hawaiian Barbecue. I've heard this is a big place in Hawaii. If I ever go to Hawaii, I'm definitely going to give this place a shot. I think that their food looks very intriguing. I really hope to go there, but me personally, I've never had the opportunity. Little Caesars. Man, I'm already 35 minutes in recording. But I hope you've enjoyed in what I've been talking about so far. I hope I've been keeping things relatively entertaining. Gosh, but Little Caesars. Yeah, they're not that good. They're not that good. No, they do come in the clutch in the fact that you can get a good deal out of them. But their food is not that great. It's there's a reason that they're cheap. There's a reason that they have those prices. You know what I mean? Taco John's. This is more of a place specifically that I've seen in Wisconsin. They're not really much of a thing in Texas, but in the Midwest, you'll probably be able to find a local Taco John's. Honestly, I think that they're pretty good. Get their little potato lays, their little circle potato bits. Anyways, they're very well seasoned. They're about one of the best hash brown type items you could possibly get. I think that their food overall is pretty decent, in comparison to other taco places. Yeah, we'll put them at B. Not the best, but definitely not the worst. Cookout. I've heard a lot of people from the South, they really like this, specifically Georgia, Florida, Alabama, sort of a thing down there. But I've personally never heard of Cookout. I've never seen one in my life. I don't know. It seems pretty interesting though. I would be down to have it one of these days. Del Taco, another place. This is more of a place that I can relate to back from my childhood. I used to go here all the time. I used to get their little, or actually big burritos. Scratch that. Their burritos are pretty big. They have big portions. And me personally, I think that they are my favorite. I just can't put them in A tier though. I don't know if I can put them in A tier though. Along with these, but they're my number one. They have the best taste. So just because they're the best taco place, I'm kind of leaning towards A. If I'm feeling Mexican fast food, I go Del Taco. I'd say that I would definitely put them below Culver's and Jollibee though, for sure. Long John Silver's, usually they're connected to a KFC. They're both founded in Kentucky. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they're from the same people, but I don't think so though. But they're actually not that bad. They get a lot of hate being a fast food fish place. Cooking fast food fish is pretty inhumane, but I think that they're pretty good. I think that their taste is pretty decent. They do also offer chicken sandwiches, by the way. I don't know if y'all know that, but they do. It's a thing that exists. But yeah, I put them at a C tier. They're okay. Marco's, I actually just tried them the other day. I got a pizza and those cinnamon or Cinnabites. They come in a pretty big portion. They're damn near the size of a small pizza for $4. And put them in with that icing. I'd say it's a really good offer. In terms of I would recommend getting their Cinnabites. But their pizza itself, I think, is pretty good. It reminds me a lot of Domino's, oddly enough, the way that their pizza tastes, which isn't exactly a compliment, but it's also not a terrible thing. But I do think that they are better than Domino's, but I don't think they're my favorite pizza place of all time. So we'll slap them at B. Ah yes, McDonald's. I just got done working here. Well, I mean, I still work here, but no, I just got off the clock. Oh, it's so stressful being here. I would not recommend anyone on planet Earth to work at your local McDonald's. The customers that you deal with here are stupid. They think that they have all the rights in the world. They think that we are just people that don't even exist. We are just robots to them. It's very disappointing. But off of my rant, their food itself, I've gotten sick of it, but I do think it's not that bad. I do think that their meat is pretty solid. Everything else is pretty good. I like their McFlurries, or as I jokingly say, McFurries. Sometimes I call McGriddles McGritties. I can tell you a lot about this place. A lot. And just my time here, but I don't think y'all really care. So, in terms of comparison to all these places, I'd say we'll slap them in at C. They can be pretty disgusting, but they can also hit right at home sometimes. Mod Pizza. I haven't been able to find up any in Wisconsin, unfortunately, but I have definitely been to a Mod Pizza before, and their sort of specialties, you get to see them make it. You get to see them put the toppings on like right in front of you. It's essentially in a way sort of like a Subway. You know how Subway has it? They as a joke says, it's like my brother in Christ, you made the sandwich. Here it's my brother in Christ, you made the pizza. So that's what their main thing is. If you've never heard of a Mod Pizza, so think of a Subway were to try to make a pizza, and that's Mod Pizza for you. I do think that their taste is pretty decent. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, would I say that they're better at Domino's and Jets? I'd say so. Yeah, we'll put them. Moe's Southwest Grill. I've never been here, and I'm pretty intrigued by it. Again, another place that a lot of people in the South love and crave. They seem pretty interesting. Don't get me wrong. And then Noodles and Company, another place that I would really like to go to. There is actually a place nearby me, and honestly, the next opportunity I can to go out, I probably will go here. But I have no opinion of them yet, because again, I've never been. Bojangles, I could say the exact same thing, just 3 of them right off the bat. Never been to, and never been to. And yeah. I wonder if Moe's and Bojangles are similar in what they have to offer. If there's anyone who have been to any of these two, let me know if these are similar or if they're completely different places, because I honestly don't know. And then we have 2 pretty similar places, or actually not really, but I don't know. Panera Bread and Olive Garden. So now think about it, they're not similar. Olive Garden, I don't really. I remember my lacrosse coach in particular loved Olive Garden, and he loved Italian food in general. And we would often get, one time we got free Olive Garden from the hotel. I think it was a trip down to Houston and San Antonio. We were preparing for a little tournament, and essentially the food that we got overnight was Olive Garden, and we got a bunch of those little free breadsticks. I know that's a thing that they specialize in, but in terms of the taste itself, it's not that good. Let me be honest with you. It's Panera Bread is better. Panera Bread is better. They're not elite, but I think that they are pretty good on all meat. I'd say they're right at B tier. They're not elite, but they're pretty good. I did kind of underestimate them going into it, but now I see why my sibling Nazara likes them so much. I do get why, but they're not my favorite. Papa John's, they're fine. Pizza Hut. Other people have brought it up, but everything is good but their pizza. So in that way, they are stupid. They are silly. They are goofy shenanigans. Or they pull off goofy shenanigans just trying to do that to us, to the public. I think that their cookie pies are top tier. I really like their wings, though they are a little bit expensive. Especially for a pizza place, you know what I'm saying? And their personal pan pizzas come in the clutch. They're hella cheap. And you can put on as many toppings as you want for no extra price. So those come in clutch, those little personal pan pizzas. But besides that, yeah, they're honestly they're right about the same level. If it was for the actual pizza being good, I'd say they're my favorite pizza place of all time. I would put them at A. But because just the rest of their pizza, like that's kind of the thing you have to master the most. You know, being a pizza place, what's the point? So C. Popeyes Louisiana chicken. I think that they are pretty good. Hear me out. That little chocolate item that they got recently, I forget what exactly it's called, but the little like chocolate doughy dessert, whatnot. I will recommend it to anyone who goes to Popeyes. For a while, they actually didn't have many in Wisconsin, but they just opened one up recently, a few months ago. So I did get the opportunity to go recently. Either way, I'd say we'll put them up at the B. I think, but I do think that the KFC is better than them though. So just because of that, I don't want to even have them in the same tier. So on second thought, I will bump them down to C. Potbelly, I think that they are pretty good. I think that they are very underrated. Not many people talk about it. Though, unfortunately, the time that I went there, that I tried, I got horseradish, and I highly regret it. So I think the next time I go there, I think I'll just do what I can to not get horseradish. Outside of that, though, if it wasn't for that, I feel like they would probably be an A tier. But because of that, I don't know. Yeah. B for belly. Panda Express, I don't like their taste at all. I used to like them a lot when I was younger, but at least over the last couple of years, in particular, I've not been a big fan. Again, I have childhood memories of this place. They used to be right next to the GameStop that I would go to, and oftentimes I would go to Panda Express after buying the new Madden. When I go back there now, it's not the same. It's not the same. Quiznos, that's a place you can go to in your life. It's definitely a different vibe. It's something unique, quirky. Quiznos. Who in their right mind just decides, oh yeah, Quiznos is the place. Like I'm really craving Quiznos. It's definitely not because it's right next to this other place that happens to not be open. Definitely, yeah. Raising Cane's, yeah, it's massively overrated. It's like the In-N-Out burger of chicken places. That's what I like to think of it. At least like a specific comparison. Something about their bread. I don't like their bread. I've heard not so good things about them, at least from employees there. And yeah, they're don't get me wrong, their chicken is pretty good. I think that they are a solid option if you have the time. But they just don't hit for me personally. They are not my type. Roy Rogers, I've never heard of it in my entire life. I've only seen it in other tier lists. I think it's a place that exists. Sure. Schlotzsky's, I don't really care. Honestly, I've seen them before, but I've never been. Shake Shack, the first time that I went here was after Texas Furry Fiesta. I think I went here actually after the first time that I went. Like I think it was my first convention. That's why I first tried it. I'm buying into the hype, honestly. Again, they're a little expensive. Don't get me wrong, and they're not necessarily known for having a drive-through. More often than not, you can find them downtown. That's more like we can find a Shake Shack. But honestly, they're an A tier for me. Minus the price, they're sensational. They're right on the same level as Culver's. I'd say they're in my top 5, I guess, fast food restaurants. Yeah. In terms of taste, they are really good. Really good. Then Sonic, I really like their shakes. You can't go wrong with those on any given day. Their burgers are hit or miss. Everything else on their entire menu is hit or miss. So because of their shakes, I feel like I'll put them at C. Then for the Starbucks, can I get an iced pumpkin spice latte? Subway, they are very consistent with their proportions and everything. You know what you're getting. It's never different, except if you go to one in a grocery store. Don't trust Subways inside of Walmart. That's all I'm gonna say. Don't trust Walmart Subways. Outside of that, if you ever just go to a local one that's just independently a Subway, it's not connected to anything else. Usually those slap. Usually those are the ones that you can find and you'll actually relatively enjoy eating. I think that they have underrated cookies. They're one of my favorite sub cookies. I think that they are better than any, again, specifically in terms of sub sandwich type places, they are my favorite cookies. But the sandwiches themselves, they are incredibly in the middle. They are the definition of your middle of the pack place to go to. Swenson's, I've never heard of that in my entire life. It seems kind of interesting though. I don't know. I guess they have a pretty cool name. I like how their font is in basically the logo. Yeah, I don't really like that shade of red. It's just Here we are. We have finally met Taco Bell. The single most pitiful, disgusting, disgraceful fast food restaurant to ever come across planet Earth. I do not drink, therefore I cannot get the 1 a.m. drunken off sensation that other people have experienced. I have seen the meat that they use and how they make it. It is an utterly disgusting, absolutely pitiful way of making excuse for beef. No. Do not ever tell me to come here. Taco Bueno. Yeah, they're right in the middle in terms of taco places. They're not bad. They're pretty good. But they're really nothing special. There's not a single thing special about them. They are very right in the middle with Subway. They're just there. If you ever find them and they're just like, okay, sure, why not? You can't go wrong, but you also can't go right. You feel me? Tim Hortons, I've never been. I don't care. I hear it's a thing in Canada. You see them just about every half a mile. I don't really care. They're sort of like a Dunkin' Donuts, but better from what I hear. Yeah. Sure. Wendy's, they are my least favorite fast food place of all time. Outside of Taco Bell, of course, but yeah. Wendy's, their burgers, they have no seasoning, they have no taste. Tastes like I'm eating rubber. Then I do like their Frosties. Those Frosties do come in clutch. You can get a pretty good deal for those. They are pretty cheap, and the taste is not too bad. But that is also can be bland at times. I remember the last time I went, the nuggets are probably in the cabinet for like 45 minutes. They did not taste fresh at all. But one thing I will say though, I did get their bourbon burger. I thought that was pretty interesting. I did like that. Or, I did like the bourbon sauce that they have on that. If I could just get that bourbon sauce at a place like Culver's, it would be sensational, but unfortunately we don't, life isn't perfect. Besides that though, they're disgraceful. No, Wendy's. Wendy's, bad Wendy's. Whataburger, the Texas sensation itself. Yeah, they're okay. Their burgers are pretty big, I will say, because everything is bigger in Texas. That is a fact, including the state itself. Anyways, you already know this stuff. I'm sure you've probably seen a Whataburger at least once in your life if you've been in the South. Yeah, their taste is right in the middle ground. Don't get their cookies. I can also apply that to KFC. Do not ever get KFC's cookies. They're up your head. Don't get their cookies. Don't get Whataburger's cookies. They come in little packages, and honestly, they probably were never even put inside an oven. So yeah, they are, yeah. Don't get their cookies. Their burgers are fine. They're okay. They're nothing special, but they're definitely not as bad as Wendy's though. White Castle. If you want a budget, I will say go here. Absolutely, because I got like 5 sliders, I think, and then a little chocolate brownie stick, and that for $9, $9.50. It came in incredibly clutch, especially coming in with the Illinois taxes that they have there. It's kind of stupid. So with that in mind, having that $9.50 is pretty impressive for everything that I got. Though I will say that their meat is the fakest meat I've ever seen in my entire life. I did not like their beef. It was horrific. But I do think that you can get a pretty good deal. And outside of the meat itself, I think that everything else on their menu is pretty scrumptious. They are delicioso. So, because of their meat, I will put them at B. If they had better meat, I would put them at A. Alright, Wiener Schnitzel, I've never heard. They say pretty interesting, though. I hear it's a thing in California or something like that, or Arizona. It's the whole thing in the West. W for West. W, it's probably a good place. Assuming instead of the fact it's Wiener, they probably... I gotta assume that they have hot dogs there. Yeah. Why do places have hot dogs? I don't understand. It doesn't seem like a fast food type of thing, in my opinion. Wingstop, I've been there a couple times. It's fine. Yeah, we'll put them at B. Yeah. And then finally, after 59 minutes of recording, we have made it to our last place on here, is Zaxby's. They used to have a few locations in Texas. It's a big thing in the South. I've heard that they're pretty good, though me personally, I've never been. They were in Texas for several years, but that was just one of those few places we would pass by and never go to. But they do seem pretty interesting. They have a quirky name. I like the little chicken on there, it's cute. So I would be interested to try them one day, but I just don't. I've just never been there personally. I can't give you a humble opinion. Alright, so at last, I have given you my final results. Here they are. You can see them all at once here. I have a total of 7 places in A tier. And then I got 6, 12. What is that? 17 in B tier. Yeah, so if you asked me, Culver's and Jollibee are probably my favorite places on here. And probably my least favorite would have to be probably either Wendy's, Taco Bell, Jimmy John's, one of the 3. Yeah, one of those 3 is my worst. It depends on what I'm looking for, because they all have pretty different foods. One being a sub place, one being Mexican-ish, but not really. And then Wendy's just typical American. Feel free to take a screenshot. Thank you guys for sticking with me to the end. This is probably going to be the longest video that I ever have on my channel. But hopefully you did find entertainment in hearing me and hearing all the stories that I've had with all these different places. I unfortunately have a lot of personal experience, and I think now it's starting to catch up to me. Again, I hope you enjoyed this video. This is Blaine the Australian Shepherd signing out of this one. And again, thank you, Eric, for being my only patron. He's in the Lightning tier. If you're interested, go check out the link in the description. I hope y'all have a fantastic rest of your day. Bye-bye.